Some people are stuffed like trees. That's fine, but that's not me. Some people's name is Steve. That's fine, but that's
Welcome
not
to
me.
the Milo Experience.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, one and all. Welcome to episode number 13 of the Milo Podcast. Bing bong. You know what I'm saying? It's number 13, people. Thank you so much for joining me on number 13, episode number 13. That's 1-3. Pretty unlucky episode if you ask me. We're in for some some bad fortune, some bad luck, some bad juju, some bad voodoo, all of that bad stuff. It's the black cats, it's the zombies, ghosts, monsters, and the paranormal. All those things, the haunted, poltergeists, banshees, all that type of stuff. That's what I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just saying that's what I think about when I think of the unlucky number 13, right? That's what I think of. But yeah, I don't do any preparation for these podcasts at all. I don't know if that is completely obvious. I'm sure to some of you it actually is completely obvious, but I don't do any prep. I don't even know what I'm going to say. Like, to be honest, it's difficult to start the podcast. It can be difficult. This is some behind the scenes shit. I'm peeling back the curtain so you guys can know. Generally what happens, the way these happen, is I sit down on the microphone. Well, actually, let me back up. Before I even get to, I pull the microphone out, I turn it on, and wait, let me go back even further. So, I'm coming home from work, right? I'm driving my car home from work. Duh. And, I'll start thinking, it's Monday or it's Tuesday. I guess I got a podcast episode that I need to do, right? And then I think, what am I going to say? I don't know. I don't care about planning anything. I don't really care to get anything off of my chest. There's nothing important enough for me to want to say, honestly. There really is nothing important enough for me to want to communicate to anyone, especially, least of all, anyone that is listening to this right now. I don't want to, there's nothing that I want to tell you, right? You know what I mean? Nothing that I go out of my way to tell you anyway. There's no secrets. There's no secret plans. I don't have any type of... I don't want to provide you with any information. I don't want to provide you with any disinformation or misinformation. All I care about is the cold, hard facts. And I don't mind exchanging opinions either. I don't mind thinking about, it's the marketplace of ideas, right? Isn't that what they call it? The economy of ideas, the economical marketplace of thought about ideas, right? So it's like your ideas versus my ideas, facts, fiction, it's all just a mix in, and if you get an addiction, then you might be afflicted. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in the car driving home from work and I just think, oh yeah, today I got to record a podcast. And that's about the extent of my thoughts. The thought always crosses my mind. I do ask myself, what am I going to talk about? But then it's like my brain, I think I've got a subconscious entity inside of my brain, or maybe an alter ego that, there's two Milos inside of me, and one of them is a sheep and the other one is a wolf. And when the sheep is driving home from my sheep job, just sheeping around, being all woolly, right? And I'm thinking to myself, oh, whoa, I need to do some stuff. What should I think about? Blah, blah. Then the wolf comes in and pounces and goes, shut the fuck up. Don't think about that shit. No one cares. You don't care. No one's going to care about what you got to say, and you don't care about telling anyone anything anyway, and the whole purpose of the podcast is to not say anything. Don't you understand? Then But like, it makes it difficult not knowing what I'm gonna say at all. I mean, it's not difficult. I don't know. I think I've built it up in my mind as some kind of challenge when it isn't. Maybe because it's like something that I feel pressured to, like, I've got to like deliver on the weekly. I feel like every week I've got to deliver it like a pizza. Keep it in the Ziploc, or not in the Ziploc, but those big Velcro thermal bag type things, and get there within. I've got to deliver it within 7 days or less, or you're gonna get your money back, and then I'm gonna lose my job. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where this sensation comes from, where I'm just like, oh God, I'm going to have to do a podcast. Like, because like every time I sit down and then just like, I just start like, that's the thing though. It's just, I just want to try to, I actually do want to communicate. I want to communicate something to you now. I'm trying to communicate to you. This is me communicating now. It's just such a, improvisation is such a funny and weird thing, I guess, like, especially because like I just sit down and like I don't know what I'm gonna say, but like you just get the ball rolling, man. You bang the rocks together, guys. The cogs slowly start spinning, and before you know, you're winning. Before you know, you're devising all types of strategies. You're preying upon the market. You're looking for new ways and opportunities to become an entrepreneur or whatever it might be. Build upon the experience in the workplace that you've from the workplaces you've already been at. Try to draw upon the cultures that you've visited and all of your worldly experience, just so you can propel yourself forward and lift yourself up. You know what I mean? Raise the bar, raise the standard. Maybe just like circumvent or divert the industry expectations, man. You know what I mean? Just like present something different, put it on the table, and just show it to people. Show it that it's don't sell it as a product. Sell it as its features and benefits, man. Sell it as a lifestyle. Sell it as not just like a 10-step program or some type of self-help course. Sell it as a new wave, a new movement. You know what I mean? Yeah, like as I get this feeling like, oh man, it's such a challenge for me to sit down and talk this stupid ass garbage. But the reality is that it's not, and it never has been. There's been some days like, sometimes I get 5 minutes into a podcast and I think, man, this is the worst shit. This is the worst. I'm not gonna and then I delete it and then I start again. But I haven't missed a week so far. But I think there's been 2 times when I've had a couple of false starts. And I couldn't get the ball rolling. My cogs were not spinning, you know what I mean? There's been 1 or 2 episodes that started off like that. And I think that they've struck fear into my heart, because now I think, what if it happens again? But it never happens. And it never happened that time either. The times when I had a false start, I pumped out some of the best shit ever, right? So yeah. The moral of the story, man, is don't doubt yourself. Just do it. Don't think. Doubt every thought, man. That's what JLP says, right? Doubt every thought, motherfucker. But yeah, I really do intend to say nothing with this podcast. I don't even know, what is even the definition of a podcast? I don't even know. I don't understand. I've never really looked it up. It's just internet. Okay, hang on. Wait. We're gonna look it up. We're gonna look it up now. All right. I'm going to type it into Google. And we're going to learn something together. Definition of podcast. Do you like how I type in that as a sentence rather than like using the Google prompt command thing? Define, podcast. Podcast. A digital audio file. So this is like a digital audio file. It's the file specifically, but isn't the file a wave? A digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device, typically available as a series, new installments of which can be received by subscribers automatically. It's also a verb, so I can say that I'm podcasting, and it means to make a podcast. Make a digital audio file available as a podcast. Why do they got so much emphasis on the file, man? It's not like I'm exporting the Milo Podcast 13.podcast. It's a fucking wave or an MP3 or whatever you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? What's up with these definitions, man? I think that definition is antiquated. That definition is probably from back before live streaming was such a big thing. I mean, even though like Joe Rogan's podcast, probably one of the oldest, and the Webovision for that matter, Tom Green and the Joe Rogan podcast, the Tom Green Show. Two of the earliest podcasts out there. Two of the earliest, not the earliest, but maybe Tom Green was. Maybe Weber Vision was the first. But they were both streamable and downloadable, right? I mean, downloadable, of course. You can always download an MP3. You've always been able to do that for your podcast. But like streaming a video? Well, I guess I just answered my own question. Tom Green did it from day one in his home, right? Yeah, but back to the podcast. I guess this is a meta episode, right? But like, so there's too many podcasts out there. Everyone has a podcast, and I don't know why I make this one and why it's devoid of content the way it is. But like, there's just something about it, man. There's just something about it, brah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I mean, it's artistic. I don't know if it's artistic or just creative, but like I'm just making something that exists. It's sort of like a challenge. It's like, you're just gonna commit to this. I want to make 100 episodes, then I'll quit, unless I get sponsored. If I get sponsored, then I'll make more. But people got to give me money to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just imagine if I make 100 episodes of this, and I don't get anything for it. And I don't mean like money. I mean, just imagine imagine it takes me 30 minutes to 40 minutes to record this shit. And then I got to sit there and edit it and add all of the music and the sound effects and fucking export it. And then I got to upload it, man. So it takes hours out of my fucking week. Like, it kills my entire Monday or Tuesday night. Like, I'm not doing anything else except making this podcast. You know what I mean? But why? I was just sitting there one day and I just thought, I want to make a podcast where I just say nothing. Like, just where I say just absolute gibberish. And in my mind, that was even worse than what I've actually done so far. Like, in my mind, I wasn't even gonna make like coherent, understandable sentences. I was just gonna just say words, man, like guitar, tile, preacher, ambulance, orange, pancake, flying octopus, spreadable blanket, dollar shoe store at the garage sale. Then we went to the carpet bomb and fell off of the cliff, rolled down the side of the candy aisle, and inside was a chocolate bar wrapper full of lava. So we took it to the Skull depot where we found $20,000 worth of gold and silver coins, and we spread it among the garden and watched it turn into and disintegrate a whole garden bed into a different parallel dimension that we slipped into another realm. And from the back of our dream-focused reality, we turned ourselves inside out to become metaphysical vans delivering Amazon packages around the streets of Broken Hill. And if that's not a good enough career choice for you, then you need to take the computer fan pocket calculator over to the pen pig iguana playstyle pen and then turn it into a left cabbage onion honey pot of savage gold pieces. Or, that's what I wanted to do for like half an hour at a time. I wanted to do exactly that. And I still do. Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me. Yeah. But you've probably heard me slip into those types of diatribes before, man. I'm all about the diatribes. I'm all about the die-a-tribe. You live long enough to you live a tribe long enough to die a tribe. You live a tribe to die a tribe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of all the tribalism. There's people fighting. There's ideological battles. There's always like us versus them. We're always cutting lines in the sand, taking out a big fat stick and putting it in a big fat chick. You know what I mean? Trying to cross those lines, cross those T's, dot those I's, put the squiggle on the Q, close the gap on the P. And then you got to connect the dots, man. You got to connect the lines. You got to really understand where this thing's going, because if you build word maps, if you take out the Venn diagram and you check out all the graphs, you're going to see that there's a pattern of hysterical sort of hysterectomies, and once that gets started, and that's the kind of thing that's really hard to reverse in a society or in any type of collection or any set of beings, dwellings, any type of communal animal or communal species that tries to work together, then that's really the real root of tribalism. That's what happens when we start to build these structures that pit ourselves against ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's not like us versus them. It's ourselves versus ourselves. It's all just comes down to like flags, red versus blue, symbols, and gods. Like just all these imaginary like things that don't make any difference to our reality, man. We should all just we need to tear down the walls. We need to go out and make a big circle around a giant bongo and sing Kumbaya for at least 5 to 10 decades. We just need some decades of peace. Feel like there's been too much war around these decades, the last couple of decades, you know what I mean? Like we had a lot of wars, and I mean nothing quite as bad as the 40s, right? I guess nothing quite as bad as the 40s, but yeah, we've had like Ukraine war, Afghanistan, Iraq, every war ever, man. There's fucking Israel versus Palestine, and there's like Africa is constantly shooting itself up, man. I don't know. I watched this documentary on Mogadishu. It was a pretty badass documentary. It was about this girl. She was like a high school girl or a college student or some shit, I guess. Or not that they have schools in Mogadishu because it's a war-torn, destroyed, desolate hellhole. But like she was doing her best, man. She was doing her best, and she was a radio presenter. Like she was, like I can't remember the full story about it or whatever. But I think that like I don't know if she like delivered education or like broadcast relevant news, being a woman and in like Mogadishu with the rockets and bombs. Like Mogadishu is seriously war torn, man. It's like just actually, I mean that was like 20 years ago, man. That was like 20 years ago, man. I don't know what it's like now. It could be worse or it could be better. I mean, that's a given, right? It could either be different or it could be the same. It'd be crazy if it was completely unchanged, though. Imagine if it was just in the exact same state that it was 20 years ago, like it was just frozen in time. People weren't moving, like the specks in the air, if like a beam of sunlight had flecks of dust or the fluff or whatever shining through the beam of light, and you can see those specks, those particles moving. But imagine if they were frozen in time, like there was no one breathing, no one moving, no one could blink, like animals couldn't, like just old cars were stopped in their positions, like there's probably bullets flying at the same time at the very point that everything froze, and they're just suspended in mid-air, and that's what it was still like today. I mean, that would be pretty crazy. I think it's more likely that it's different than being the same. But that's just a hunch, you know what I mean? It's just a hunch, just a gut feeling. It's a feeling that you get in your guts. And I've got a lot of guts. I've had them since I was a baby. I was born with guts in my body. And thing about guts is that you got to keep them inside of your body because taking them out, they get all kinds of dirty, and then they get infected, and then they stop working, and you gotta, like, you get septic, and it pollutes the rest of your bloodstream, and blah, blah, blah. You always gotta keep clean, keep healthy, do your best, and just stay on top of the game. Well, I suppose I just have to, I mean, if that means I gotta clean my organs for the rest of my life, I'll just keep them inside of my body. And douse them with alcohol. I will constantly just douse them with alcohol to keep them clean, and to make sure that any of the germs and stuff that come from outside of my skin, maybe they get in through my eyes, the germies, they get in through my eyes or my ears, or they come in my mouth or my nose when I'm breathing or whatever, you know what I mean? Or maybe they come in my food when germs are on my food, and then I eat the food and they get in my body and they try to attack my organs, and that's why I'm drinking the alcohol, because alcohol is like what do they call it, a sterilization liquid, I guess. Is that right? Can we look that up? Hang on, I need to fact check. Jamie, can you pull that up? Wait, I already know this. I used it on my fucking piercings. Is alcohol sterile? Let's have a look. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, do we believe them? Are we willing to believe what they have to say about this? Microbiologists, alcoholic beverages such as spirits, wine, or beer don't kill bacteria. Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, I can tell you that it made my nose really, really painful when I had a piece of metal stubbed through the middle of it, and I used the alcohol to keep it clean. And now, it was really painful. Made me sneeze every time I splashed it on there, and I've come to learn that it did nothing today. It's really crazy how you learn new things every day, isn't it? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just fantastic? I love to learn. I love to learn. I love to learn everything. I love to learn new things. That's why I just be walking around instead of reading like novels or reading anything that's on the bestseller list. I just be walking around with this big printed out version of Wikipedia, man. Fits inside my backpack. Way better than, I'm like a patrician, dude. I don't want to be reading no fucking phone screen. It's too modern, too new. I don't be doing none of that Kindle or whatever. Actually, speaking of Kindle, man, you never see them around anymore, right? The paper looking, handheld, look like paper device to read. That's how I'd describe it. Handheld, look like paper device to read in public. They were pretty bougie, I guess. They make you stand out, right? They make you look like some kind of smart man because you are not reading some stupid... You're not looking at dumbass memes on your phone, or you're not like looking at social media or reading some stupid bullshit. You're reading a Kindle. That means you're a smart guy. You have full control over your attention and your focus of attention. You're not slave to the modern algorithms and the pulls and draws of the beeps and the squeaks and the colors and the flashing lights of the mobile phone that everyone else is using in public. Blaring music. You don't need to sit there listening to, becoming overstimulated with whatever nonsense, pop trend, K-pop, whatever, top 40 bullshit or whatever, man. You're not listening to podcasts. You're just sitting there being better than everyone else, reading your Kindle, being ready to react to any type of audio cue that the bus may throw at you or the train, right? Good way to be, I gotta say. Be alert, be ready, be on the lookout for danger, because especially in certain parts of the world, you might get robbed for your Kindle. Just imagine that, some thug walking up, hey man, hey motherfucker. You'd be like, hey man, what's up? Oh yeah, I just shing, and they stab you. Oh man, what? I need that Kindle. I gotta do some reading. You know what I'm saying? Gotta do some reading, man. What kind of world that be? Like, imagine some kind of world where knowledge is so hard to come by, like all the libraries of Alexandria have been destroyed, there's no more internet, and only Kindles exist. And now the thugs, instead of trying to be stupid ass morons that rob people for money or whatever, now they rob people for their Kindles so that they can have access to knowledge and educate themselves. Because like the people with the Kindles are like some kind of ruling class. Yeah, people with the Kindles are the ruling class, and the thugs are the underdogs or the untouchables. And as the ruling class, I got access to all this type of forbidden knowledge that the poors aren't allowed to have. And so every time, that's what happens when the poors want to take over and eat the rich. It's going to be all about the Kindle. It starts with the Kindle, man. So lock up your Kindle. Lock up your Kindle. Throw it in the fireplace even. Start something with it, bruh. Had a lot of rain lately, didn't we? Yeah, here in Sydney there's a lot of rain, bit of flooding, bit of damage, saw some SES vehicles getting about, but as far as I was concerned, wherever I was, it was just, at my home place. Just some heavy rain, man. I'm used to rain, I'm used to water coming from the sky, and didn't get flooded, didn't get fucked up, but I'll tell you what, my hot water turned off for some reason, and it wouldn't turn back on, so don't know why that happened. Then I called the guy, and he came out and he fixed the hot water, and I was like, duh. What was wrong with it, mate? And he was like, oh, duh. Didn't you know? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, I'm about to tell you. And so he took me down to the side of the street or whatever. He took me down the road. He pulled out a couple of these VIP cards, and he was showing me them. And I was like, so what's this got to do with like the hot water system? He's like, call this number. So I looked at the number, I started typing in my phone, I looked up and the hot water guy was gone. I was like, what the fuck? I read the card and it says VIP number. And it says 0417 665 239 4768 19876 5432 7856 702 15389 10576 7432 65712 9487631. So I typed that in and I called it, and no one answered, man. So I thought that was a bit weird for a start. I mean, the first thing I thought was weird is that the guy, the dude, the plumber guy or whoever it was that I called, I thought it was weird that he disappeared. And then I thought it was weird that this crazy ass VIP card that he gave me with a phone number on it had this big long number on it, and I thought that was weird. And then when I called it, like, I was expecting some kind of crazy like supernatural or like prophetic like occurrence to happen, something that was going to really turn my life around or make me see things differently or whatever, you know what I mean? It just turned out to be a whole lot of bullshit, and there was not even any answer on the other line. So I started walking back home, like realizing that I was getting nowhere, and that's when the phone in my pocket started to buzz. Like, oh fuck, here we go. Pulled it out, and it was that number. I was getting a call, like they were calling me back. They must have missed my call. So like, what the fuck? So I answered the call, and it was at first it was just static, like shh. I said, hello? Shh. And then suddenly a deep voice said, Milo, I want you to play this song live on the air on your podcast next time you go live. So play this song for me, mate. You have 7 days. And it hung up. It shook me to my core, mate. Shook me to my fucking core, mate. So I went home and I thought, mate, you know what? When it comes time for me to go live on my podcast, I'm going to remember that time that guy called me and returned my phone call. Well, I'm going to remember that time that I tried to call that guy and then he didn't answer, and then he called me back. And then he asked for me to play his request of a audio song live on my podcast while I was broadcasting on the airwaves, and I'll do that for him. So we're going to go into a musical number on that note right about now.
Wet
Welcome to the Milo Experience.
Thank you very much for that. But yeah, I'm staying motivated, man. I'm keeping my head held high. I'm keeping my chin up, looking at the sky, nice and blue with the clouds floating up there as well, you know what I'm saying? Don't want to look directly into the sun, or might lose some eyesight, maybe just a little bit of it, I don't know. Maybe it might actually improve it. Maybe I'll get the strongest eyes in the world, and then I can walk into dark caves and actually just open up my eyes, and it'll illuminate the entire area from the amount of sunlight that's stored within my eyeballs, and everyone will call me Sunlight Eyeball Man. And I could probably go and join the army, and then they'd have to study me and send me on all kinds of secret top missions where I need to infiltrate dark spaces where there's no electricity, and maybe like there's light sensitive areas or whatever like that, and I can just go in through there with like my sunglasses on, and if I take the sunglasses off, or maybe I can put different type of sunglasses on my head with different shades, lens colors, and then I could like be a human disco ball, just changing the colors of the lenses, or changing my sunglasses in the disco or whatever. I mean, there's plenty of different options I could do if I had the power to shoot just light from my eyes, you know. I think it's a decent power. It's definitely up there of the top 3 to 4 powers that I would choose. It's just the ability to illuminate whatever you're looking at is just it just really sheds some light onto the whole world of superpowers, doesn't it? The whole world of just really sheds some light into the whole world of superpowers, doesn't it? But now I think it's time for everybody's favorite, coveted, weekly, regular segment. The Brodie Report. Recently, Brodie was scaling a mountain and he got stuck up there with a big goat on his shoulders, and he was like, "Fuck, man, what am I gonna do? It's either me and this goat die here on the side of this mountain, or I'm gonna have to drop him off and try to save myself." But the goat was listening to Brodie. He turned down and he said, "Brodie, don't do it, man. We've been through so much together, mate. Fucking, I got you all the way up the side of this mountain. We're like 2 clicks from the top, mate. Look, it's fucking right there. I can see it, bruz." And Brodie was hanging onto the goat with sort of one arm, and he's hanging onto his pickaxe, stuck in the mountain with the other, as icy as hell. And he's thinking, "Fuck, man, this goat really has done a lot for me, man. It's done so much. He's brought me up this hill. He turned the hill into a mountain. He showed me how to climb. He showed me how to be the man that I am today. But I don't know, man. Like, we can't. It's one of us or it's neither of us. You know what I'm saying?" So he looked up into the goat's eyes. The goat knew it was coming. He said, "Mate, Brodie, just don't do this, mate. Don't just think about the times we've had, mate." Brodie said, "I'm fucking sorry, mate, but I'm fucking getting off of this mountain alive." And he chucked the goat down to the ground. The goat fell like 50,000 kilometers down the side of a mountain and landed in a crazy spiky gulch that was just full of electricity, and he got killed and stabbed and zapped into nothingness. He got absolutely obliterated. And that's when Brodie was like, "Fuck, mate, I wish I'd never did it. I wish I never did it." So he jumped off the side of the mountain. But little did he know, there was Fuzz at the top of the cliff, and he reached down and he grabbed Brodie by the jacket. And just as Brodie had let go, and he lifted him up with all his might, and he said, "Brodie, it's not your time, mate. It's not your time yet, mate. You got to come back up to the mountain with us, mate." Brodie looked up at Fuzz and he said, "Fuck me, mate. You were there for me after all, mate. You were fucking looking out for me, weren't you?" And Fuzz said, "Yeah, mate, I was fucking looking out for you, bros. Now come over and play this Mortal Kombat game, man." So they jumped on the MKX. Fuzz chose his Kotal Khan. Brodie chose his Triborg character. And it was all jelly rockets and sun shields to the end of the night, man. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty fucking cold, man. And Brodie left his goat down on the spiky electricity field 100 kilometers down below. So they pulled out some sticks. They pulled out some twigs and a little bit of that ganja, and they got up to, they started rubbing it together. Someone grabbed some rocks and started banging them together, and suddenly there was a fire. Yeah, they're gonna get warm. Brodie busted out the marshmallows. He melted them on the sticks. He mixed it with the ganja, and he got tripped off of his face on marijuana marshmallows. And that's how Brodie wrote the first original Pit Vipers song, I Ain't Dying on This Mountain Trippin'. And it's a good song. It's a good song. All right. I think we need to. I think it's time that we tuned into our eye in the sky, looking at the ground, the Milo Podcast chopper for a traffic report. All right, Milo, tell us what's happening up there, mate.
Oh yeah, Milo, thanks for crossing over to me, mate. I'm seeing basically mostly empty streets right now. Actually, it's pretty crazy. They must have triple demerits on because no one's driving around. Except over on the west side of town, there's at least a couple of unicycles that are going around the roundabout. And if you look over to the north side of town, then you're going to see like 50 school buses. They're driving around making a lot of pollution, and they're trying to pick up the children that are trying to get to school. But there's a bunch of rhinoceroses that are stopping the children from getting on the buses. And if you look over to the south, then what I think you'll see is that there's a lot of vehicles that are just stuck there in time, not actually moving, not actually going anywhere or doing anything. I imagine that the idling of the engines is causing a real disturbance to the neighbourhoods down there, and that's got to be a lot of wasted petrol as well. And if you look over to the east, what you'll see is a large swamp monster being inundated with army helicopters, and they're just trying to fight off the imminent invasion of the swamp people. So don't go over there because all of the roads have been blocked off by swamp monster crud. Yeah, that's the traffic. Now for the weather. Monday, it's going to be 27, mostly cloudy, and it's going to be a big fish chicken salad sandwich with rhinoceros, elephant, moose on top. And then Tuesday, it's going to be 14, and it's going to be a lot of electricity, and there's going to be basically a lot of sun cancer, and there will be all the fruit is going to go dry, and then all the ice cubes will get even colder, and then the buildings are going to turn larger. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be 45, and there's going to be no rain, no hail, no wind, no air, and there's not going to be any sun and not any moon. There won't be any light or any dark, and there won't be any fish or any cat. There won't be any cars or any helicopters. There won't be any guitars, and there won't be any choppers. There won't be any bikes, and there won't be any birds. And then on Thursday, it's going to be really cold. It's going to be colder than cold. And then on Friday, it's going to be a new day with we're going to enter a new time zone, and so you need to put your clocks back, and then in the morning, and then you put them forward at night, and then the next day, Saturday, is going to be 12, and on Sunday, it's going to be 45 with light southeasterly winds, and like a hurricane coming from the north in the afternoon, and there's going to be an earthquake, and then the fire is going to come out of the ground, and then there's going to be a meteorite shower if you look towards the Big Dipper, and there'll be an alien invasion, and there'll be 50,000 squid come out of the ground, and they're going to come and get on the land. Over!
Thank you very much for that. Now, I'd just like to take a moment to thank our sponsor. Today's podcast was brought to you by NordVPN. If you like to look at illegal shit and you have crazy kinks and fetishes, then you need to get NordVPN because you're looking at bad stuff and you don't want anyone to know. Or maybe you're at the workplace and you want to sneakily rub one out in your lunch break, or maybe when you go to the toilet or something like that. But if you're on a Wi-Fi network, then everyone knows what you're doing, duh. So what you need to do is download NordVPN and type in the code Milo Podcast 69, and you will get all the privacy. You get so much privacy that no one will know what you're doing ever again, and they'll probably have to submit a freedom of information request in order to get that type of stuff from out of the secrecy of your brain. So yeah, go to nordvpn.com, sign up for the newsletter, and download your privacy. And this podcast was also brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. This game is really fun, and I play it all of the time. So what you need to do is, if you like to quest, If you like to kill enemies and level up your character, if you want to get all of the secret weapons and join my guild, and I have to show you my character now. Look at my character now. It is a guy, and I am so strong. But if you want to get on my team, and if you want to start with 50 crystals, 20 dragons, and access to all the races and species and genders, then you need to go to raidshadowlegends.com and type in the Milo Podcast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to receive your exclusive subscription to all of the good stuff inside of Raid Shadow Legends, the video game that you love to play right now. Bonza! Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. That was episode number 13 of the Milo Podcast. Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. And I will see you in the next episode.
Riding on the bus, all my wood is blowing bud, and they plotting all on